All right, let's dive into one of humanity's oldest questions, but with a little twist. See, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a choice you have to make right now. So would you choose to live forever?
I want you to really imagine this. You're presented with a decision, just a single action that's going to define the entire rest of your existence. And here's the catch. There are no takebacks, no do-overs. The stakes, they couldn't be higher.
So, picture the scene. You're up in your eccentric uncle's attic, sifting through all the stuff he's collected over the years. You know the vibe. It's quiet, kind of dusty, and it has that smell of old paper and wood.
And then, tucked away behind a stack of old books, you see it. A small, almost ancient-looking box. You brush off the dust, open it, and inside, there's this little vial of liquid, and it's giving off this soft, otherworldly glow. It almost seems like it's alive.
Tied to the vial is this simple handwritten label. The script is beautiful, but the message is just staggering. It promises the one thing people have been searching for forever, a life without end.
Okay, so it's an irreversible choice. And before you even think about deciding, you gotta know the terms and conditions, right? The fine print is pretty simple. You drink this, and you stop aging, right now. You become immune to every disease, you can't be seriously injured, but here's the kicker. It is permanent. We're talking you're guaranteed to be around until the heat death of the universe.
You have to admit the promise of forever is pretty tempting, isn't it? Let's just for a second think about the upside here. We spend so much of our lives just trying to avoid death, worrying about it. This potion, it offers complete freedom from our single biggest fear.
So what does saying yes really get you? I mean, it's so much more than just not dying. It's a total rewrite of what life even means. Think about it. Every single skill you've ever wanted to learn, every instrument, every language, you could master all of them. You could read every book in existence and still have time to read all the ones that haven't been written yet. You could live 1,000 different lives, have 1,000 different careers. It's the ultimate freedom to become, well, anything you want. The horizon of what you can achieve isn't just pushed back, it's gone completely.
But of course, it's not that simple. There's a catch. The British ethicist Bernard Williams, he came up with a really powerful reason you might want to put that potion right back in the box. He argued that an immortal life, as great as it sounds, would eventually turn into something unbearable. So here's Williams' big objection. Eternal life would become soul-crushingly, mind-numbingly boring. That very thing that makes it seem so incredible, the endlessness of it all, that would become its greatest curse.
Williams had this brilliant way of explaining it. Think about your favorite dessert. Let's say it's a chocolate truffle. The first one you eat, it's pure bliss. Amazing. By the time you get to the 16th one, yeah, the magic is probably wearing off a bit. Now, imagine eating that exact same truffle every single day for 1,000 years. The millionth truffle wouldn't just be boring, it would feel like torture. And Williams' point is that every pleasure in life would eventually go the way of that truffle.
But hold on, not everyone was convinced. Another philosopher, John Martin Fisher, he pushes back on this. He says Williams is making a huge mistake by lumping all pleasures together. Fisher argues that, sure, some things get old, but other experiences are what he calls inexhaustible. Plus, our memories aren't perfect. After a few hundred years, couldn't you forget something and then rediscover it all over again?
So what did Fisher have in mind? What kinds of things could keep us going forever? Well, he makes a distinction. Eating a truffle is a one-and-done kind of pleasure. But what about watching a sunset? No two are ever exactly the same, right? Or think about huge ongoing projects. An immortal musician wouldn't just master the piano, they'd master instruments that we haven't even dreamed of yet, playing music that hasn't been composed. See, these kinds of pursuits don't just repeat, they create their own new challenges and goals. They give you a reason to keep going.
But Williams had another major problem with immortality, and this one is maybe even deeper. Let's say you do manage to avoid being bored. He asks a really profound question. After all that time, would you even still be you?
Think about it. To keep from getting bored for all of eternity, you'd have to constantly reinvent yourself. Maybe you spend a few decades as a painter. Then you decide to become an astronaut for a couple of centuries. After that, maybe a deep-sea farmer for a few millennia. With each of these new lives, your core values, your dreams, your entire personality would have to shift, and shift dramatically, just to stay interested.
And that leads to this really unsettling philosophical question. After 40,000 years, after you've lived 1,000 different lives with 1,000 completely different personalities, is that person still the same you who drank the potion all those years ago? So, here's what Williams' argument boils down to. If the you of the far, far future is a total stranger to the person you are today, with different memories, different values, different desires, then in a very real way, you don't exist anymore. Your immortality doesn't matter because the person who gets to live forever isn't you. It's kind of like a different form of death.
Okay, there's one last major argument against drinking the potion, and this one comes from the philosopher Samuel Scheffler. He basically suggests that a meaningful life actually depends on the fact that it ends.
Scheffler's big idea is something he calls temporal scarcity. And it's a simple concept, but it's really powerful. The whole idea is that things have value to us because our time is limited. That scarcity is what forces us to make choices, to set priorities, and to figure out what really, truly matters to us.
According to Scheffler, if you had an infinite amount of time, what's the rush? Why would you commit to anything today if you could just as easily do it in a million years? Why bother forming deep relationships now? He argues that immortality wouldn't make life more meaningful. It would actually destroy the very thing that gives life meaning in the first place.
So, after all of that, we're right back where we started. But now, we really get what's at stake. This isn't just about living forever. It's a choice between two completely different worlds, and both of them have incredible benefits and, frankly, terrifying downsides.
So, on the one hand, you've got immortality as the ultimate blessing. Endless time for joy, for learning, for growth, all without the fear of death hanging over you. But on the other hand, it could be the ultimate curse, an eternity of boredom, the slow disintegration of who you are, the loss of all meaning, and the endless pain of watching everyone you ever loved get old and die, over and over again.
And yet, even after all these incredibly powerful arguments against it, the offer is still so tempting. The thought of just having more time. You know, a few extra centuries to learn, to love, to see the world, maybe even to eat a few more of those chocolate truffles. It's really hard to just dismiss that idea, isn't it?
Which brings us right back to that dusty attic. The glowing potion is in your hand, the choice is yours to make, and you can never, ever take it back. So, what do you do?